hit upon a couple of different little advices about practicing lead motifs in this video. The first is, and that the main reason I made this video, is the idea that when you practice something, in this case this is the opening of Television's Friction, Richard Lloyd's guitar part, that little run, that it's important to, there's like a phase to practice where you spend about a week working on something maybe. This lick's not that terribly hard, so maybe it wouldn't take more than an afternoon or 20 minutes, depending on your skill level. Whatever the lick is, where you learn it, and then it's very tempting at that point where you're like, I kind of got it, to be like, okay, I got it, moving on to something else, and kind of forget it. That's what I'm trying to tell you, don't do. If you really like a lead motif, then once you get it to that place where you can play it, keep it there. Keep it around and turn it into a warm-up. Here's what I mean. By the way, my name's Eric Haugen. Here's my website. Here's my Patreon. I'm on Instagram too, and I post funny pictures there. Yes, there's my information. But yes, the thing that I want to talk about here, let's go to a different lead motif. Let's look at, let's turn my sound on. That little lick from George Harrison's Something. That's one of my favorite solos to work on with students because, yeah, it's so well phrased, and like you really have to. You gotta really think about how you're gonna land each little lick. We won't go further. Because what I think is tempting to happen is, here we are, you know, completely surrounded by information and tabs coming at us from all various directions, and gosh, yeah, there sure is a lot of cool songs to learn how to play. And so what happens is you work for a while on something and you kind of get it, and then a month later it's gone. And so I try and tell my students that once you've worked on even a rhythm riff or any lead motif, that like then keep it there, and here's where it can fit into your practice. So here's the second point I want to make. I always think it's a good idea, you know, when you pick up your guitar, major scale, blues scale, and then also minor scale, by the way. I was thinking about the next thing I wanted to say. So by the way, yeah, that's a separate thing. Those are the three scales everybody, I think, should know. And then I think it's a good idea to check in on your fingers to see where your lead motifs are by recalling things that you've worked on. Sounds good today. Let me make sure I really got it. To really make sure that like your vibrato, your timing, and your bends and things like that are where they sound good. Because I think it's very tempting to like learn a thing and then just move on from it. So then the third point I want to make is, when you're working on something, let's go back to that lick from when you're working on something, let's go back to that lick from Something. To practice it at such a speed, and I've said this in other videos, I'll probably say it for the rest of my life, to practice things so slow at such a speed that you can really process everything as you're doing it. The analogy I've been using lately is you want to practice things like that at the way that you would help an old dog down a flight of stairs. For those of you who have old dogs, their joints get very stiff and it's very dangerous for them to go downstairs, so you have to be like, okay, that foot, you got it, this one, there you go. There you go. Good, good. Careful. No, and then they get to the bottom and you give them a treat and you're very nice to them. You want to play guitar like that. You don't want to just go and be like, yeah, sounds kind of like it. The improvement's not going to be made unless don't do your vibrato like that, and you know, nope, you got to figure out how to get that whole step bend there. He does a weird thing. He does it. You have to switch fingers there. Pardon the jump cut. The card was full. I really need some interns. Okay, so we were talking about practicing things so slow, like the dog going down the stairs, that you can really think about exactly how you're going to execute everything. You know, and don't let yourself off the hook. You know, there, you know, you try and get it as good as you can. And here's the thing, like all things, there's kind of a spectrum or an arc. You try to get things pretty darn accurate, as close as you can, but then somewhere along the way, you do realize you're like, okay, I can't quite get that way. I'm gonna have to make an adjustment or take a note out or do a bend a slightly different way, and that's okay. But it is a little bit of a moving target, because I do think that the flip side is you can drive yourself completely batty trying to get, you know, this is very true for fast runs. You know, every little, like Brian May, good luck. Good fucking luck playing like Brian May, exactly. It's at least for me, it's impossible. The way he subdivides the beat. Same with Hendrix. There's certain Hendrix runs, or many Hendrix runs that you know that I'll never get right. There's just never I'll never phrase it like him. You know, that just like I'll have to be like, that's okay. Well, I just gotta do my slowpoke version. I'm just going to have to find a way that's close enough. So you try, and then you stop at a certain point and go, okay, that's my way. Like, yeah, I definitely have to do that after I work on any, you know. I don't really remember that one. I just remember that. Oh man, I don't remember. That's all I remember, that solo for now. That is a good Jimmy Page solo to work on, though. It's a well-phrased one. So then that brings us to, what's this, the fourth point I'm rambling about? What solos you choose to work on do matter, too. I tend to tell people to pick solos that are mid-tempo and have nice gaps in the phrasing. Don't try and learn Jimmy Page Heartbreaker. Don't do that to yourself. That's darn near impossible. And there's many a guitar solo that are quite frenetic and quite full of notes. But honestly, you know, if to go back to Beatles, I'm a music teacher. Music teacher love Beatles. That's a great one. John Lennon's guitar part in I Want You, She's So Heavy. I do that one all the time. You'll sometimes see me do. You'll see me do Santana, Black Magic Woman. Let's see if I can play Sultans of Swing right now. Yeah, there's solos like that I'm like, these are great, because you can spend one afternoon just, and then that crazy. Here, let's, because I have pedals, now I'm just being silly, but that's okay. Univibe, octave fuzz. actually is an example of what not to do, because I wasn't playing that very cleanly. Come on. Nope, you don't want to sustain there, Mustang? Come on, Mustang, you can do it. Yeah. So yeah, there's certain solos. Oh, I keep around. Put some delay on too. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. Sounds good, man. I feel like I missed a note there. Yeah, that's Jam Pedals, Retro Vibe, Dusky, Octave Fuzz, Maleko, 16 analog delay, and my Strymon Deco is actually in there, just pulling off a little of the highs as a compressor. What am I talking about? Okay, to review. Okay, so one, when you select a lead motif, or actually a rhythm motif to practice, you know, practice it slowly like the dog going down the stairs. Once you get it, keep it. Be like, you're mine now, and I will put you in my pocket, and I will keep coming back to you until you're kind of part of my guitar DNA. So you fit it in there. After you've warmed up with your scales, you check in on those lead motifs to see how those things are sounding. And then, then there's that thing of knowing when to take notes out of a lead motif to be like, I'm never going to get that. I'm just going to have to kind of make that bend this way or do this as a slide instead. But you don't want to give yourself too much leniency, because then you just end up being a lazy guitar player, but you also don't want to make yourself an overly perfectionist. There's a little bit of and that's different for everybody. I just know my limits. And then, what you select to work on in the first place, that's important. Don't pick the stuff that's completely frenetic and completely full of notes. It's not beneficial for working on. It's just not. Unless you're naturally fast, then maybe it's going to be fine for you. I'm not. I have to pick stuff that's like mid-tempo and like, I know that like I can understand it and I can play it. My hands aren't very fast. Those are all the rambly points I wanted to make. Thanks so much for watching my channel. That's all for today.